Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Wednesday morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing well out there, having a great start to your Wednesday, a great week out there so far, and a great start to your month. It is November 1st. We're done with October. And October went out with a bang yesterday in certain areas of the country, talking about snow and cold temperatures. It was downright wild weather across the Great Lakes region, anywhere from Milwaukee down to Chicago over to Cleveland to Buffalo. Saw heavy snow at times yesterday, even some thunder snow. And I would say as a whole, this event across just in general the Great Lakes region and areas of the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and even into sections of the Northeast, this event overachieved. Areas are waking up to a snow-covered ground to start your November 1st. It was snowing on you folks if you were trick-or-treating or whatever you were doing last night. It was some pretty wild photos and videos last night. I was really enjoying seeing it, but yeah, I know not everybody likes the snow. Some people are probably screaming, this is way too early, but regardless, you're waking up to snow on the ground in certain areas and maybe just a dusting. But it's a pretty wild morning out there. Even this morning, there's some snow being reported as far south as Maryland. Some flakes are flying around just north of Washington, D.C. Some still lake effect snows going off Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, and then even some snow falling in portions of the valleys of New York, Western Mass. We'll speak on all this in this video, get you covered for the rest of the country. And yeah, so if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. Found out my little girl does have strep throat, unfortunately, and yeah, it's been kicking her rear end a little bit, but she's got some antibiotics ongoing now. Thank goodness, and hopefully she will get healed up and feel much better today. I'm actually going to stay home with her today as my wife is starting her first day of student teaching. For you folks that are new to the channel, my wife is finishing up her college degree of being an elementary school teacher. So a very rewarding job, and she's in the final stage, but of course she couldn't miss us this day. So I had to stay home with her today. I have to stay home with her today. And I think hopefully she can feel a little bit better. Maybe we can pull out the Christmas decorations, go on and start bringing everything down from the attic and utilize this day off. But definitely asking for prayer. She feels better, and you guys have already been praying. So just continue to prayers. I thank you, and I appreciate that very much. Just goes to the family type atmosphere we have here on this channel. But with that being said, let's get rolling here. So let's take a look at wider vapor loop. It really shows this system entering the Pacific Northwest pretty well. It has not quite entered, but we have a big plume of moisture about to enter western Washington and western Oregon. The middle of the country, it's pretty quiet. Just put a check mark there. We'll warm up across the plains. And it's very cold in the eastern portion of the country. Dry air has really punched in. You can really see the gradient down here of really dry air and just somewhat dry air. Right into here, Florida, still pretty, I wouldn't say warm this morning, but you're definitely not cold this morning in most of Florida, but this will continue to move down into like northern sections of the state. But I don't know if it'll make it all the way down to Miami. But, if you look really closely right here, you can see some white kind of right into here, and you're probably not going to be able to see it very well. You'll see it right in here too. These are these lake effect streamers still ongoing off the Great Lakes, even got some action ongoing off Lake Michigan. But outside of that, guys, today will be pretty quiet. It really will, but there will be some things that we need to speak on, some snow, and of course the system entering the Pacific Northwest. So let's get going. Let's talk about what's falling out there right now and take a look. This green you see on your map in Maryland, this is falling in the form of some snow flurries, some snow showers out there. We got some snow that is flying around in some of these higher elevations of West Virginia. I think this will get more enhanced a little bit later today. We got some light to maybe a moderate, maybe at times heavier snow falling across western PA this morning. Excuse me. If you look at this band right here coming off the southern end of Lake Huron into southern Ontario, this has been a pretty epic band this morning. This has been popping off thunder snow. If you're in a community here in southern Ontario, you have been blasted by this lake effect snow band. It has not moved much from west to east. And yeah, I would love to know what you're seeing. We still got some lake effect moisture popping off Lake Michigan. And we got a pretty intense band coming off Lake Ontario this morning, affecting areas kind of just east and southeast of the lake. And then we just got some moisture just kind of sitting stationary, coastal low right off the coast of the Northeast. is not, I mean, if this was a little bit closer, it would probably bring some pretty intense inland northeast snow. But most of the moisture just offshore, cold rain for areas of Long Island. I did see some reports where some snowflakes were mixing in. But yeah, this is what's going on this morning. Thunderstorm outlook today is very quiet. The excessive rainfall outlook, I will mention there is a marginal risk for excessive rainfall guidance being met. 5% risk, very low. But I do want to mention it as we do have an atmospheric river kind of set up, about to probably set up for areas of the West Coast, and we'll speak on that later in the video. And then when you look at watches and warnings, we do have freeze warnings ongoing with sub-freezing temperatures going on right now. But there's certain areas where the cold air really hasn't gotten fully entrenched in, and then tonight will be your sub-freezing low temperature night. So regardless, very chilly temperatures across the eastern and southern U.S., and we'll get even more colder tonight for certain areas. Winter weather advisories up for some counties here in this more kind of duller color or purple, if you will, for a few counties here, even a county in far western Maryland, a couple counties in West Virginia. So, yeah. We look at temperatures this morning, and it's very cold. The entire state of Tennessee just about below freezing. Kentucky, points north, same thing. Northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, North Georgia, below freezing for a lot of areas. If you're not below freezing, you're into the 30s, 40s, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. And Carolinas up to Virginia, your really cold morning will likely be tomorrow morning into tonight, into tomorrow morning. And as you notice, up here into the Ohio Valley, mid-south region, I mean, it's not Arctic air cold. I mean, it's colder in like Tennessee than it is in Ohio. But it is some pretty cold air for even November 1st standards, but nothing, earth-shattering or anything like that, but definitely cold, especially in Missouri up into Iowa, points northwest. We talk about what's going to happen weather-wise to the southeast today. Guys, there's not really much to talk about at all. We'll go through this section pretty fast. It's pretty quiet. Not a really drop of rain, a flake of snow. We could get some showers that could enter the Miami area just off the coastline a little bit later today. Could bring some downpours into this region. Might drift in from the north or northeast. But outside of that, all of the southeast is quiet. Most of even Florida is quiet. And you got to get all the way to the southern tip of Florida till you get back into kind of summer-like temperatures and warmer temperatures. But most of everybody else quiet 24-hour period for sure. Now, the northeast a little bit different. I want to show you the radar out of Sterling, Virginia. And yeah, you're getting reports of some snow. And here's a report of mixed rain, snow mix just north of Washington, D.C. If you live in the Boston area, you might get a little bit of flakes mixing in here within the next few minutes, and lasting maybe an hour or so. I don't think this is gonna accumulate, but it will be neat to see to greet your first day of November. And then we even go up here into the Albany, New York region. I want to show you guys this too. We got some snow flying around. Okay, snow being reported in western Mass. Even a snow report just outside of the Worcester area. Worcester? Don't get me started, guys. I know you guys in the Northeast are already laughing at me. A snow report is just northeast of Hartford, and even got a mix of rain and sleet south of Danbury, Connecticut. And yeah, this is a pretty intense band of snow popping off a lake. Let's see. Hold on. We're going to try to do this on the fly, guys. Pretty intense band of snow popping off Lake Ontario right here. And here it is. Yeah, that was the right one. I had to remember which radar was up for this region. But this is some pretty intense band coming off Lake Ontario here. This is starting to drift into the Syracuse area. Really intense. Just north of Syracuse, though. So you're definitely experiencing some snow. This is, like I said, you're reporting some snow here in the Albany, New York area. So, and definitely have snow flying around in western PA. If you look at the radar out of Pittsburgh here and see what's going on, I mean, there is definitely some flakes flying in this area. And some of these bands are intense. This is accumulating in some of these areas. It's either at or below freezing or maybe just above freezing. And this is drifting all the way down and really will kickstart some snow flying around in West Virginia a little bit later this morning. So that's what's going on right now. I want to show you. It's a very interesting start to your November for sure. We keep this going. I think the lake effect snows will let up later this morning. They could get going a little bit later on tonight again, though. Could have some snow that, falls throughout the morning hours in western Mass. You could get some accumulation a little bit. And then we get into this afternoon, we still could be dealing with some snow showers, just kind of drifting through western PA, New York State, especially the Finger Lakes region. Could get a little bit some enhancement off those Finger Lakes. It's very possible. It happens sometimes, for sure. Southern Vermont, a little bit of snow shower activity. We get into later this evening, into the overnight hours. And then we could get another band that fires off. 2 bands off Lake Erie and Ontario that gets going again just south of Buffalo, maybe around the Watertown area off Ontario. And these could last for a few hours, maybe dump a little bit more snow tomorrow morning, and then a little much quieter tomorrow for sure. Snowfall between now and the next 24 hours. I mean, some of this has already failed, but in western PA, another couple inches of snow is really possible. Not sure how much snow y'all got on the ground in Pittsburgh, if any at all, maybe a dusting, but you guys will let me know. Anybody up here, let me know what you're waking up to this morning. How much snow did you get yesterday? I know I got some viewers in Wisconsin, the UP. Let me know how much snow you got in Milwaukee yesterday, because it looked like you guys got crushed by a big time band of snow yesterday evening. Let me know what you've seen. Up here in New York today, let's get the New York frame. Some scattered snow showers. Some could be intense. Drop a quick dusting, 1/2 inch. Binghamton, maybe a dusting of snow. So it just depends on where you are, where these little snow showers kind of drift into these areas. It'll be kind of a tough snowfall forecast unless you're up against the lakes. But you guys up against the lakes, we'll get some more snow a little bit later tonight, another couple inches as possible south of Buffalo later tonight too. So the rest of the country is quiet except Washington and Oregon, which we'll talk into here in a second. But South Central U.S., bone dry day, still a chilly day, starting to warm back up. Nothing to speak on. Nothing to speak on at all. Okay, not to only give you guys 10 seconds, but there really isn't. Up here off Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, you guys are still getting some lake effect action, but I mean, even till later this afternoon, outside, maybe some snow flurries that could fly through central Wisconsin. North Central U.S. is quiet also. Very quiet day of weather. Nothing really going on. Still chilly. Very quiet day. Now you go out in the Western U.S., a little bit of a different story. Definitely a system will move in and really start to take over the region a little bit later this morning into this afternoon. You guys will be dealing with some heavy rain in western sections of Washington, northwest Oregon, northern Oregon. This will take over the entire state of Washington throughout the overnight hours, start to drift into northern Idaho, start to make its way into western Montana and to tomorrow morning. Higher elevation snow, but this is not going to be near as cold of an event as what we saw like last week, early last week, where these systems were moving through with much colder temperatures. This will be a much warmer system. So definitely going to have some bands of rain moving in tomorrow morning, but this is just going to be kind of a rainy next 24 hours up here. And I mean, around the Seattle area, I mean, an inch or two of rain is very possible throughout the next 48 hours. And then these higher elevations could get some elevation enhanced rain for sure. And multiple inches of rain is possible. Right up against the coastline of Washington and Oregon, 2 to 3 inches of rain is possible. A little bit of a rain shadow ongoing between the Cascades and the higher elevations of Idaho, but still, you're definitely going to see some rain for sure. You go over to Idaho and western areas of Montana, certainly a couple inches of rain is possible in Idaho, and maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain is possible in central and western Montana, and central Idaho could get an inch of rain for sure. So temperatures today, warm in Florida. You got to get south of Orlando to get into the 80s, but if you want warm weather, you're going to have to head on down to the southern tip of Florida. The rest of the country, I mean, this is more so January type high temperatures. Certain areas of the Northeast won't get above freezing. Chilly day for sure in the Appalachian Mountains. But I mean, even where you got snow yesterday, I really think that you'll have some melting ongoing today for sure. Just because, it'll be bright sunshine for a lot of these areas, and you'll warm well into the 30s, maybe even the low 40s. But the high plains starting to warm up into the 60s. If you still got snow on the ground in Denver, which, I'm sure you do, along the Front Range, you'll definitely be getting its melt on today for sure. Same thing up in Montana. A pretty warm day, relatively speaking, compared to what we've seen. You definitely got some snow melting today, but North Dakota, northeast Montana still hanging on to those below freezing temperatures for highs for dear life here. And so I'll give you a quick update on the tropics. This has dropped to a 50% chance to develop now. 50% chance to develop as of the 8 a.m. update. So the chances of this developing down here, this Invest 97L, which the GFS was pumping out some pretty worrisome runs there for a while, has substantially dropped. And even the most aggressive model, which is the GFS, has now really went away with the idea of even a tropical storm forming. So we might not even get a named storm out of this. So pretty wild stuff, guys. Hope the video helps. I know I rolled through that very, very quick, but just trying to get done with this and then get to my little girls. So God bless all y'all. Have a great day. I'll try to get a video in this evening, but really looking forward, guys. November was the first half of November was looking pretty active, and it could still be, but models are really all over the place. So we'll try to figure out what's coming up next as we get deeper into the colder months. God bless all y'all. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.